Buffalo's chip. Hey, everybody. Hope you can hear me. It is Tuesday night, not quite 7 p.m. Of course, if you didn't notice, I'm having some technical difficulties here. On the road, headed for Rock Valley, Iowa. It's our organizational week. We have an organizational meeting every spring where we bring all the trailers and trucks together, disperse all the sponsor flags, all the sponsor banners and such, all the tech equipment, all the track equipment, things like that. Disperse it between the trailers. Because as most of you know, throughout the season, a lot of times there are a lot of weekends where we're running 2 events at the same time, and sometimes we're running 3 events on the same day or same night. So that's where I'm headed right now. I would have had Mike take over the show as he did last week in my absence when I was on vacation, but Mike is on the road as well. So I'm not sure what happened during the intro there. My screen just went completely blank. And my computer was on, but was not working. So I had to reboot everything. And going to be a short show, of course, a lot of because of that reason right there, because I am working off of a sketchy signal here and a hotspot. So we had Greg Rastede loaded up here to do when the smoke clears. If I can get his bio pulled up, which I had loaded in here before, and now it seems to be gone. But if I can pull that bio up, we'll do Greg Rastede tonight. Any questions you have out there, I'll try to answer any questions. Ben Beller, I see you're watching there from Howard, Kansas. Thanks for watching, buddy. Dick Blancaspor, watching from Inwood, Iowa, as he does every Tuesday night. Faithful follower of the show. Dick says his first tractor pull he ever attended was July 4th. 1959 or 1960. Either one was a long, long time ago. So he's been a pulling fan for a long time. Cole Lundahl watching from Wakefield, Nebraska. Thanks for tuning in, Cole. Mark Willis. Mark was worried just a few minutes after I wasn't going to get the show going here. I said, I'm trying. I'm on the road here working off a hotspot and a computer that's not wanting to cooperate. So, but thanks for watching, Mark. Chris Pierce. Good evening from South Dakota. Robert Miner checking in from is it Niobrara? I can't remember. Niobrara or Niobrara, Nebraska. Tina Berger checking in from Wilbur, Nebraska. 6 weeks, y'all. 6 weeks and 3 days. We kicked the season off in Ravenna, Nebraska, the end of our festival, truck and tractor pull in Ravenna. 6 weeks from this Friday, folks, the season starts. 6 weeks is going to go like that. So thanks to everyone for tuning in here. Hey, there's Mike trying to chime in. Let's bring him on here. Hi, Mike.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you? How's your signal, buddy?
Well, we're hotspotting the phone and grab the Chinese fire drill. The show must go on. We didn't want to leave these fans waiting, so but I see you got the starter and the jump pack and your Chromebook's working again.
Yeah, I was panicking just a little bit, man. It's like the intro was going and all of a sudden the screen just went black. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's less than ideal, but, this might be a fun way to break up the drive a little bit. So how are you, Ron Stone?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Ready for this big meeting, our organizational meeting. Lasts usually 1 day, sometimes 2, getting everything divided up between the trailers, getting things cleaned up, throwing out the old stuff that is damaged or no good, and bringing in the new stuff, all the new sponsor flags and banners and such. So hopefully the weather cooperates with us. I'm hearing we might get a little rain and might have to do some inside work. But where are you at right now? I'm in Ottawa, at the truck stop in Ottawa, Nebraska.
You're in Ottawa. I am somewhere north of Omaha on I-29. I would say right between Omaha and Sioux City, if I were to guess. So.
Okay, you're not too far behind me here.
Nope, we're going to be in the same ballpark.
Craig Corzine has a message for you, Mike. He says it's about time you jumped in. He's pretty sure that you can multitask. So
I'm learning. It's one of those. The thing about truck and tractor pulling is you have to overcome and adapt, even if you're just a keyboard puller like myself. But we'll find a way to get it done. We're outlaws.
Hey, I saw the poll here a while back, a couple of weeks ago, about what outlaw member would you like to see get behind the seat of a pulling tractor or truck?
Yeah, if you
And I
could
saw
pick
your name a
anybody.
few times and mine a few times as well on there.
Well, you've done it. You've not only done it, but didn't you take a microphone with you? Didn't you announce from the helmet one time, or was that just a wild idea that we dreamed up late one night?
Well, I did it in 2018, actually from Pierce, Nebraska. It was a Nebraska bush pull, and I wired up the mic inside. The only hiccup was I had no audio to know. I had somebody else announcing for me because I was announcing the event, but I couldn't tell if he was talking when I decided to talk. And plus, once the green flag dropped, it was pretty quiet inside my helmet. It was all business. And here I thought I would be chattering all the way down the track, and I wasn't. I was completely quiet in full concentration mode. So
the best response we got to that question, someone said that Lori Bauer needed to operate the sled while Kevin Bauer operated a pulling vehicle.
I saw that.
I said, I want to know who would be more nervous. Would it be Lori operating the sled, or would it be Kevin that someone other than himself is operating the sled?
Yeah, Kevin would probably be nervous that Lori was operating his sled. I'm sure that's probably
Kevin's sled. He strikes me as someone that you don't just walk up and ask for the keys to the Outlaw sled. So that's his baby.
Maybe Craig Corzine will let you drive one of his machines this summer.
So we're in a dangerous position, Ron, because I've just been telling everybody absolutely not. Mike Idle, just the microphone is more than enough horsepower for me. But enough people have started egging me on that I'm getting a false sense of confidence. I'm starting to think that I could actually do this. And I think we all know that just the crow's nest is as close as I need to get to the starting line as it is. So
I'd say let's crawl before we walk. Maybe get you on a garden tractor, a souped up garden tractor at one of these.
I would drive a garden tractor. I'd do that. I think that would be fun. I could have a good time with that.
Yeah, because I think you'd be nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. We put you behind a 3,000 horsepower power plant, man. That might.
I'm kind of an antsy person as it gets, and you start giving me that much power, and I don't know that. Like I said, the microphone's plenty of horsepower just as it is.
Corzine said it sounds like you're scared and kind of laughs there at the
end. Hey, man. We'll figure, before this career's said and done, we'll have to figure something out, so. Oh, bud.
Ben Beller says, got to get Mike in the torch and twisted to start with.
That would be, I don't think that would be so bad. I think we'll start with garden tractors. We'll work our way up from there. So.
Yeah, that could be fun too. The garden tractor thing is pretty fun. Those guys have a good time. Mike, but
yeah, they're neat.
I appreciate you jumping on. I was panicking a little bit. I was going to be able to get my computer back up, man. So just stay on here as long as you've got signal, if you don't mind.
Yep. No, absolutely. I kind of thought, well, I thought about it and I said, I've got a driver with me and I got my phone hotspotting, got my laptop, so we'll make it work. So yeah, like Ron says, we're headed up to Rock Valley, Iowa this weekend, this week in the middle of the week. Headquarters of the Outlaws. And Ron, what I really like about this trip, it's a good time to get the trailers ready and to put some work in, but it's kind of a team building exercise for the behind the scenes of the season as well. And it's, we're not quite pulling yet, but this is still going to be fun because it means we're getting closer.
Yeah, 6 weeks, 3 days. Yeah, it's coming up pretty fast. Yeah, I was just mentioning that before you jumped on, how close we are. Cole Lundahl says he'd do that in a heartbeat, but there's one thing. If I did it once, I'd want to do it again. Then the building a tractor stage would have to begin. Hey, that's how people get hooked, Cole. That's exactly why we want you to try it, is so you'll get hooked and build a tractor. And then Mike and I can announce you going down the track when you have it there. So, see, that's how we work.
I think Cole would be fine on a tractor. He strikes me as a person who'd be comfortable there. I'll tell you this about Cole. you know, you want to talk about Outlaw super fans. I've been doing this new trivia on the Outlaw Facebook page where I post a picture of a vehicle and I only give them like the smokestack or, you know, the front weight bracket or something like that. And I ask them, who is it? And Cole Lundahl has yet to be stumped. He has named every single vehicle along with Taryn Beck. Taryn is undefeated. So we've got a couple out there that have not missed a single. It could just be a sticker or a smokestack, but they've nailed it every single time. So we're going to have to try to stump Cole and Taryn at some point.
Yeah, I've wanted to guess on a few of those that seemed pretty obvious to me, and ones I'd seen before. And it's like, oh, I know. And I was like, well, I can't answer that. I shouldn't.
That's like insider trading.
That's right. That's unethical stuff there, Mike. So I watched a little bit of Let's Grow Pulling last night. You interviewed somebody that I've wanted to interview for a long time. You got a hold of Ronnie Reed. How was that, man? That was cool.
That was I wish you'd have been on there, because a very pleasant surprise. I was learning every bit of history as I went. All I had was the photograph. And as I've identified the pullers, I've started just to reach out to them to hear their story straight from, you know, the tale that they've told. I didn't know any of that. You know, some of these pullers I know a little bit about, but to meet this gentleman and him just say, oh, yeah, 1985, I built this tractor. I won the 5,000. I won the 7,000 Grand National divisions in both of them, sold it to Leo K. It became the driller. I mean, I was kind of picking my jaw up, you know, as I was having the conversation. Super interesting person. Really, really neat story. That tractor kicked some major butt there for a year or two in the mid '80s.
Yeah, he was the one to beat there for the longest time. It was great to see. I thought it was cool, man. I thought about interviewing him for the longest time. Wanted to get him on there. When I turned that on and saw you were having him on, I was like, holy smoke! And I had to watch some of that interview.
That's where I felt bad, because I felt like, well, I should have done more homework, because I didn't realize the extent of a legend I was speaking to. But it was kind of fun, because just, hey, you know, it's like sometimes you go fishing and you catch a big one. So, but he had some really cool stories to tell, and evidently what was one salty 3-engine mod in the mid '80s.
Yeah, even the 2-engine, when he was running the 2-engine, he was still the one to beat out there. Very tough pulling competitor. Did he say anything? I didn't watch the entire interview, but did he mention why he got out of the sport? Did he just, you know, got old to him?
Almost alluded to it. We kind of danced around that a little bit, and I asked him, I said, do you miss it? And, you know, in our world, that's a question, you know, as an interviewer, you try not to ask questions that you don't kind of already know the answer to. And I thought, oh, he was just going to talk about how the glory days, but he actually said no. He said, no, I don't miss it. And he talked a lot about how much dedication it took to, you know, be successful that much at that level, you know. So, you know, he kind of talked about how I think it was one of those where he just hit it as hard as he could hit it, and the opportunity came up to transition on, and he kind of realized that he had a family, and that's what he was going to do. So, and I mean, after the season or two that he had, the sport didn't know him very much at that point. You know, there wasn't a lot left to prove.
Yeah, and being from, you know, out in Kansas and hitting the NTPA circuit, going back east a lot, you log a lot of miles, you know, and that can wear on a fella too. And of course, family, you got to dedicate some time to family and stuff. So, but that's cool. That was cool. I'm glad you did that. Glad you did it. Parade Alley Lounge, hey, he's worried about your safety, and he's worried that you're driving and looking at the telephone here. So,
no, it's a laptop. We're totally fine.
Well, that's much better. It makes us feel so much better.
No, I'm carpooling up here, you know, because we're taking the big rigs home this weekend or this week. So I got my main pulling, you know, got my dad with me. So
I was gonna say that would be an expensive Uber, man.
That would be a heck of some shipping costs. Yeah, I don't know how we'd get it back home. So.
Zook Fukerberg says, good evening, all. Getting ready for the big White Right Texas event, June 27th and 28th. Fast approaching. Yes, it is. And I'm going to call you right after the show. Doug Voth. I want to chat with you.
We had a question right here. I've got like live comments coming in from like 9 inches away. So one of the questions, and this is for Doug, we were curious if we'll see Doug in Nashville, Illinois. So I know he's on here typing up. So Zook Fukerberg, will you be bringing the Griffin Growl to the Pullers Championship?
He is furiously typing as we speak, Mike, yep. I'm sure.
Yep.
When I say he's furiously typing, I don't think he does that on a regular basis. So it's hunt and peck right now for Doug. So give him a couple of minutes and he will respond.
Yep.
So you guys are not far behind me, Mike. And by the time the show's over here, you might actually catch me.
I was wondering that. Yeah, you're at the disadvantage of having to do like a full pit stop, so we might have thought about that. But no, we should roll in. We're thinking we'll roll into the great town of Rock Valley a little after 9 o'clock tonight, and we'll be on right past the pulling track. You can't go to Rock Valley and not think about Thunder in the Valley, and it's going to be a huge year this year. And what a year it was last year. It's fun to look back on that and just applaud the fact that they were able to get that pull in. So obviously that's going to be another one I can't wait to get back to this summer.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, Mike, because this is the year they go to 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Rock Valley. So no Saturday noon session. And we're going to get the guys from the Valley Pullers in Rock Valley on the show here in the next week or two. I talked to Rich again today, and he said we want to get all our ducks in a row. We got a lot of things hanging out there, and we want to get everything cinched up, I's dotted, T's crossed, and then we'll come on the show so we can tell you all the new stuff that we've got going on. I know people in the city of Rock Valley are getting involved this year. They're going to do some things downtown, like on Friday and Saturday, and it's going to be a pretty cool deal. The whole city's getting involved. We're talking about having a pedal tractor pull for the kids, being put on by the Young Guns. So a lot of things going on there for Thunder in the Valley this year, and we'll have them on the show here in the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping. Yeah,
that'll be awesome. It's a destination pull, even if you're not one of our Outlaw faithful or regulars that watch this show or watch our pulling circuit. That's one that anybody and everybody needs to put on their bucket list. And pullers would agree with you. Craig Korzheim was commenting on the show a little bit ago, and he's talked about how that was a great experience. And we've had several pullers from other associations or different states come. It's a top-notch tractor pull, front to back up there. So.
Yeah, Zook Fukerberg did answer, and he said affirmative on Nashville, Illinois. Affirmative.
Perfect. Yeah, it's fun on these long drives. You get to start playing, talk about what tractors you think are going to do what this season. And that was one that we both agreed that keep an eye on that. Once that thing starts breathing the way it's supposed to, that thing's going to be a mean runner as well.
Both said he had to clean his hands still in the shop. He said, we'll be in Nashville, Illinois as long as the Griffin is together. So,
all righty.
Greg Korzheim said Rock Valley, one of his most favorite pulls, a must-see. So, coming from Greg Korzheim himself there, appreciate that, Craig. That Rock Valley is one of our biggest pulls of the summer. And, of course, it was one of the coldest pulls of the summer when Craig Korzheim came out and swept that weekend. It was we had to put our winter coats on Friday night. But
he was. I watched that one from home, and I remember he was going out there with the rag to get the condensation off that. I thought those C10 Chevys, I thought they had like dash warmers and defrost and everything. I guess his specific package, he didn't get that in the model that he had on that on that one.
No windshield wipers, no defrosters. No.
Yeah. So
we need that breaking news.
Yep, I see it. I see it right over here.
Craig Korzheim says, spoiler alert, there are some Illinois rigs coming to Rock Valley this year. Breaking news. I've heard of some Illinois tractors coming as well.
Yep. That a lot of good things happening in Illinois right now, and I'm really enjoying it. Feels like the state of Illinois and the Outlaws are kind of developing, this, budding relationship. We're going to head over into Illinois for a couple of pulls this year. Definitely looking forward to doing that. And to the Illinois vehicles coming to Rock Valley, we say, can't wait to have you and bring it on. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I spoke with one of the gentlemen from Cambridge, Illinois, the Henry County Fair, and he's going to come on the show the next week or two as well and talk about that pool. That's going to be a big weekend for us. We go to Cambridge, Illinois, the Henry County Fair on a Friday night, and also talk to Todd at Organics Midwest. They're putting up some extra cash in those classes that are coming from the ITPA guys will come over and pull with the Outlaws. We're talking limited pro stock, and I'll give a full list on an upcoming show. But they're talking about dropping about $2,000 added money into the purse for both of those events, Donaldson, Iowa, and Cambridge, Illinois that weekend. So that's big news as well.
Amazing sponsors, the partnership with Organics. Doesn't surprise me they'd be willing to do that. Amazing product. That's just, I love every time I hear something like that, because it just, when you get a company like that believes in what we've got going on, it's just a win-win for everyone. So, and especially, hey, pullers, a little extra green, that's always something fun to go out there and lay it all out on the track for.
Yep, that's another big announcement. I'm hoping we can announce next Tuesday night on Outlawed Live the Organics Midwest Summer Sweep.
Oh, yeah.
For each classes, more money than last year. So they are putting up a lot of cash for these pullers to go out there. And this is in addition to points money. So this has nothing to do with the points money.
Any new classes competing in that? Do you have the insider info, or is that to be released at a later point?
Same classes with the exception of one. We went from 11 to 10. The modified naturally aspirated two-wheel drives will not be in the sweep 2025. So 10 classes, added money over last year. I'll let you know that the winner will get. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to tell you it's added money. It's almost double what it was last year as far as the payout for that top spot. So
if we could trust every one of our viewers to keep a secret, you might think about saying it, but I just know, I know there's a couple of folks on here watching that, wouldn't be able to. So we'll have to release that officially.
Yeah, you and I can't keep a secret. How can we expect anyone else to, Mike?
I can't keep a secret. You keep them better. You sat on big news. You sat on big news for a long time before we made it official on the show. So you're better at that than I am.
I'm guilty of dropping little hints, though. I mean, some people can figure it out.
For more, you got to keep the audience, poised and ready.
So I'm surprised I'm still live here, working off my phone's hotspot.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead. If you're going to stay on here, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and do when the smoke clears.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, and I can pull that up, or I don't know. I think I sent it to you, but I'll pull it up on my side. That way, in case either of us go down, we've got it.
Hey, do you have the bio with you?
Yes, that's what I'm pulling up right now.
Okay.
Or at least that's what I'm trying to, if my internet wants to cooperate. But yeah, looks like that's should work with me.
For this week's When the Smoke Clears, and I did reach out to Greg. I did not hear back from him. Tried to get him to come on the show. He was a light modified puller, pulled with us this year. That Turbine T53 turbine powered tractor comes out of Nebraska. Now this chassis, Mike, that Greg Rastede is running is a former Outlaw Points champion chassis.
Is this going to be a former mod one way or another?
This is the old Foreign Affairs tractor that had twin L11s on it.
Yep.
And is a previous points champion. It got sold, went off to Washington State, I think, where both the motors got blown up there. And the owner up there sold it back to Greg Rastede, and it came back to the state of Nebraska, where Greg pulled a handful of hooks with us last year, had some really good outings with it. One in particular was a light mod class. It wasn't even a sanctioned outlaw class. It was with Missouri State, which is a co-sanctioned pull in Buckner with the Outlaws. And Greg pulled with the Missouri State light mods and almost got him a win there. Just got beat by the last tractor, I think, by a very little bit. End up second. He had a really impressive pass, but looking for big things from him this year.
Go ahead and put his hero card back up there, because I do want to touch on something that he called me the other day and told me. So, folks, as you can see right here, it's got that bright lime green and kind of the plain clothes on it. This is, I said I'm not a good secret keeper, so I'm going to spill the beans. The Rolling the Dice Light Limited Modified will be completely revamped aesthetically this year. The green is gone. The wheels are going to be all brand new. They're going with those old school Kreger style rims up on the front, kind of similar to like what the Sweet Paint has, and it's going to come out in a tri-color of like dark blue, purple, and light blue, done up in that 1980s kind of vintage style. So they're very excited for the way this thing is going to look out on the track this year.
Awesome. Hey, nothing wrong with the 80s, buddy. That's when I grew up.
I think some of the best paint schemes in modifieds, and we're seeing them make a comeback a little bit. The Cotton Candy's got some of those pinstriping on it, and then Tommy Owens out there in New York with the Ramblin' Rose, he's kind of got that old school paint style. I really dig that graphics on pulling tractors.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
He's going to have that revamped.
Uh-oh. There you are. All right. I had one of those pop-ups come in right about the time I was hitting a button to pull something else up, and it grabbed that pop-up. So let's do the video here, Mike.
Sure. Yep.
I'm not working with my usual mouse here. Even I feel like I'm working with antique stuff here for some reason.
Yeah, this is like a live look-in. Ron and Mike on the road, So this is.
On the road. That's a whole other show. On the road with Mike and Ron. So this week, when the smoke clears, you're looking at light limited modified tractor puller, Greg Rastede. That West Point look, a lot of those light modifieds at West Point looked like they were getting a lot of speed and having some wild rides there. You got to announce that. That
West Point track fooled every last one of them. It looked like they all threw weight on the back. I think they thought the track ended up being, a lot better than they thought it was going to be. I thought they thought it was going to be a little loose, and they were flying. When I say flying, I mean they were pointed skyward. Every last one of them made for an interesting show out there in West Point.
Yeah, I seen some of the video clips from it, and actually went back and watched some footage here a while back, and yeah, there were some pretty wild hooks from it. It looked like they had a lot of speed coming down the track.
And they got, I think, the like 8th place finisher, like the last place finisher, pulled like 312 or something like that. That was one of those where like Wes Severs put it out there early on, and he dropped like a 360 or a 370, and I thought, no one's getting past that. And then Gage Ott, being on the run that he was on last year, laid another one out there where he flirted with the 400-foot club, and they found something in the back half of that track, and they ran away with it. It was, they were grooving.
Nicole Lundahl, insider here, he says that the Rastede family and Greg are involved with pulling on the garden tractor side of things too. They might be able to hook you up, Mike.
Well, so let's go ahead and check out his bio, because he talks about that quite a bit in here. Yeah. He's kind of a who's who of garden tractor pulling when you look at what he sent us. So your puller of the week on When the Smoke Clears is Greg Rastede. He drives a light limited modified he calls Rolling the Dice. It's a light limited mod powered by a T53 Lycoming turbine. He's been pulling for 2 years with the turbine, but for 15 years with the garden tractor. Now, this is kind of, Ron, it's giving me that false sense of hope again, because evidently you can go straight from a garden tractor to a mod. So, evidently I do a couple of passes out there on the garden tractor, and then Corzine's going to be handing me the keys. Evidently that's all it takes. But, I think Greg might have a little bit more talent than I do. Says his first hook was in Wayne, Nebraska for both the garden tractor and the modified. He says his most memorable hook was sitting in the staging lane in Wisner, Nebraska last year, sitting down there in the trees. He said, wildest ride. Look at this. He could have been an announcer. Wildest ride. He said the tricky track at West Point, Nebraska. So the story writes itself. Points championships. He has 4 points championships in the garden tractor division. So quite a bit of success in there, like Cole said. His biggest pulling hero is his uncle, Ardell Stamp. Pulled a 4-wheel drive truck in the mid-'80s called Good Vibration. He says his other uncle, Mark Stamp, pulled Double Trouble, both of them powered by Hemis. Ron, you're a door slammer from the 80s. Do either of those names ring a bell?
The only Good Vibrations truck I can remember was a red Chevy with a chopped top. It was kind of a wild look. That's, I hear Good Vibrations, 4-wheel drive, that's what I think of. I don't know if that's the same truck or not. But
okay. He says, best pulling advice, he says, never second guess your setup. He says your first idea is normally the right idea. Day job, he's a farmer. His pulling goals include to have his son and daughter eventually on the big tractor, and just to be a proud dad of them doing that. Says the best part of being an outlaw is quite simply the people, and the message to the fans, don't be afraid to meet the pullers in the pits. We're all nice people, and don't be afraid to bring your kids out to the pulls. So a lot of great messages there from someone who's just getting kind of up and coming in the Outlaws, but he's diving in, all in and all aboard. So Greg Rastede, we wish him the best of luck this upcoming season. When the smoke clears, you'll be looking at an outlaw, and that outlaw is rolling the dice.
Very cool, Mike. Corzine's, he just sent the simple message, LOL. I think that was maybe answering when you said Corzine handing you the keys, maybe. That was...
Maybe we better make it a full season or 2 on the garden tractor before we jump. So, but yeah, one thing, pullers, I want to encourage all our pullers, like always. If you're interested in being on When the Smoke Clears, just reach out to us. Tons of pullers have gotten the questionnaire, and they are in the process of filling it out. It's planting season, so we've hit a bit of a lull right now when it comes to getting those back. That doesn't really surprise me. I know we're at that point of year where they're putting the crops in the ground and they're putting the pulling tractors out of the shed. So we get it. But guys, if you want to be on When the Smoke Clears, don't be afraid to contact us, because we want to feature all of our pullers.
Yeah, and Mike and you and I talked just a few days ago about sometimes the pullers are slow to get those back in, but we may call their number even if they don't send those back in, because we do have puller profiles at our disposal, and we can start using some of those to start calling some of these pullers out, and we'll give them a ring, see if they want to come on the show, and we can do it that way as well. So I know people are busy. People have a lot of stuff to do. These farmers got their hands full. Corzine said you'll have to fight Ashley for the keys to the C10. So Craig, you're twice my size, and I'd rather fight you. So awesome. I can't believe I got this to work. It really scared me when the computer just went blank on me. I was like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, this is fun for the fans too, because folks, it's this is a little bit of what we do. I mean, we're going up I-29 right now. This is familiar outlaw territory, so you're getting a little bit of a behind the scenes of what it looks like to go out on the road, to go outlaw pulling, and some of the troubleshooting we have to do. It won't be the last time this whole summer where we've got to figure something out on the fly, but the show must go on, and that's why we like doing it. Yep, I apologize for being late. There, so we were right into the intro. I played a few videos and went into the intro, and it just went blank. So good deal. Where you at now, Mike? Where you at?
North of him.
North of where?
We're north of Ottawa.
North of Ottawa. We're past
Whoa.
you.
See, you wouldn't even stop. You wouldn't even stop.
Ron, I've been looking at you the whole time, bud. You know,
I apologize for that.
I don't even know where we are. Somewhere we're still in the central time zone, I think.
Well, hey, I'm going to jump off here and try to catch up. So
hey, that'll be interesting. Are you in the motorhome or are you in the pickup?
In the motorhome, got the trailer behind it, the big Outlaw, the black Outlaw trailer.
Yeah,
so,
I like my chances then.
All right. Well, you might have to stop for fuel again. I think I'm good now for the rest of the way. I've done fueled up. So,
well, we'll meet you in the lobby, and we'll have to talk a little pulling before we call it.
Maybe have a barley pop or two.
Yeah, that doesn't sound terrible.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Mike. Thanks everyone for coming on. Cole Lundahl, but having a show late, the no show at all great. Thanks, Cole. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the super fans out there in Outlaw Nation, man. We've got a bunch of them, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Be safe out there, planting, everybody. Tune in next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. At that time, we'll be 5 weeks and 3 days away from the green flag at Ravenna, Nebraska. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next Tuesday on Outlawed Live.